All right guys, welcome back. It's time to get this thing prepped for paint. Now KBD does have specific instructions on what you need to do to make sure the paint actually sticks. So we're gonna follow those instructions and let me show you what products you're gonna need. As far as prep, you're gonna need acetone. This is actually nail polish remover, but it's 100% acetone, so that'll work. And then we have some Comet. You can also use Ajax. And we have some red Scotch-Brite pads. So what we'll do first, we'll wipe the whole thing down with acetone, the whole bumper, then we're gonna scrub it with these Scotch-Brites and the cleaner until we get this thing completely clean of any mold release agent. The thing is if you do not get this surface super clean, paint will not stick. There's a mold release agent on this surface that we have to scrub off. And while doing that, we're also gonna be scuffing it at the same time. So we're gonna be cleaning and scuffing the bumper all at once. Now, once we're done cleaning it, there still might be areas where we need to go back over with the Scotch-Brite, but steps are super important if you want the paint to stick, especially since this is polyurethane and it's flexible. So take your time, be super thorough, and just when you think you've got it done, go over it again. All the work we do right now will ensure that the paint actually sticks. So I got my acetone and a clean microfiber towel. We're just gonna saturate this towel, wipe the whole thing down, and then we can move on to the scrubbing. All right, I got this thing completely wiped down. Now it's time to start scrubbing it with the cleaner and the red Scotch-Brite. And I'm not gonna make you guys watch the whole thing getting scrubbed, but we'll do a little area and I'll show you what it looks like now and what it should look like. So if we get water on it like that, see how it beads up? Take a little cleaner. Now you see, it no longer beads. See how it beads up here, but not here? This is what you want your whole bumper to look like. Not this, but this. So this is the most important part of the whole process. You want your whole bumper to be scrubbed with that cleaner, all the cracks, edges, everything. Because the last thing you want is to get paint on here and it peel later. And if you don't get down in the cracks, all the seams, all the edges, that's the first place it'll peel. So I'm not gonna make you guys watch me scrub this thing down. Probably gonna take a while. I might go over it a couple times just to be sure, but we'll pick up the video once I'm done. All right guys, I think I'm finally done. I'm not gonna lie, this sucked. I don't know how long I have into this, scuffing it with the cleaner, but at least a few hours. So I'm just gonna give you some quick tips. Basically, how I did it was I would just do a section at a time. Work one section, rinse it, and if you saw anywhere where the water would bead off, do it again. Obviously, down in these areas, not fun. This was the worst area to do. And there, not fun. But again, focus on one section at a time. If you try to do this whole area all at once, you're gonna go over it tons of times because there's no way you're gonna get it all. So, like I said, section, and I would do a section, and do a section, section. Just keep doing that all the way around it. Just work your way across the bumper slowly. And then once I got done, I did it all again, but in one step. So like, I got it all done. I wetted it down again, put more cleaner on it, scuffed the whole bumper, rinsed it off, let it dry. Then I even went over it and dry scuffed it again with the same pad. Just another dry scuff all over it. But I'm calling it good there. It's ready for primer. But I did do some other work to the bumper as well as some modifications, so let me show you that. One thing I did was I got these holes cut out over there and over there. So those are done. Also, I opened up this hole a little bit more and I flattened this whole section here. It was a little too thick to fit into the car, so I just ground down the back side of that just to skinny this up. For when it slides in here, it's much easier. Then I also got the fog light holes drilled out, fog lights test fitted, and they fit perfect. And then one thing that was bugging me was this bottom section here. I was trying really hard to get it straight and flat, which you can see it now is. But first thing I tried was I actually heated this whole section up and then clamped 2 pieces of wood to it and let it cool down while it was hot. And that worked most of it out. Originally, it was really bowed in right here and I couldn't get it to flatten out. So I did something else to make sure it never gets wavy again and it always stay flat. You can see in here on the bottom, I just got a flat piece of aluminum and it's screwed in and epoxied in. And what that's gonna do is keep this straight, that bottom section of the bumper. So it'll never get wavy. That should hold it in place. Basically, I just drilled holes, tapped some threads in there for those little bolts just to hold it in. And it worked out so well that I decided to do it in another place. And in a lot of the pictures I've seen with guys with these bumpers, this section here is also wavy and not flat. So I put a piece of aluminum in here also. And this time I did not screw it in like the lower piece down here. I just epoxied it. Here you can see the screws for the lower piece that I did first. And there you can see that lower piece there for the lower grill opening. I had to notch it in a couple places and that way it could bend and follow the curve. But it's epoxied in there. I just left it clamped overnight and it's nice and straight now. Now, obviously those things are not required. Those are just on my own, wanting to add to the bumper, just an extra step to make sure that this thing looks as good as it can. So it's totally on you if you want to add those things. You don't have to, but I think it's going to benefit me later when it's on the car and everything's flat and even. So nothing else left to do but to put primer on that thing. All right, and here's the primer that KBD wants you to use. You can get it in spray cans like this. You can also get it in a quart to use in a spray gun, but since we're doing this in the garage with no special equipment or tools, we're gonna do spray cans and spray can it. So next thing we need to do, KBD says 1 good wipe down with acetone again to prep the surface, and we can start spraying. All right, there's 1 light coat. I'm going to do a much heavier coat once this flashes for about 10 minutes, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, fully primed. Kind of cool to see it getting some life with some color, you know? So this has been about 24 hours since we primed it, so it's ready to scuff. And basically what we're going to use is a finer scuff pad. This is a little finer than what we used on the raw bumper itself. And all we're going to do is scuff this primer and just make it smooth. Just a light scuff, nothing crazy. Just to smooth out the primer and any imperfections. Like you can see right here, the primer sprayed kind of funky at first. So we're going to scuff that out, do the whole bumper, take your time, make it nice and smooth, and then we'll be ready for paint. All right, it's fully scuffed, ready for paint. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you guys and show you some things in the bumper that may not be showing on camera right now. As you can see, there are defects in the mold. Here you can see some more right there, more right here. Here's some right here. So you get the idea. Those kinds of things, you can't just sand out of this because you create divots. Also, you'd be thinning out the material a lot. And since this is polyurethane, we can't add body filler or anything like that. So I'm not sure what you would use to fill imperfections on this style bumper. I chose not to mess with it and just make it the best I could, mainly due to the fact that this red hides imperfections very, very well. Sort of like white wood or any light colored vehicle. Now, if you had black You're painting this black. Obviously you'd want everything as smooth as possible because those imperfections will show. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. I know it looks good on camera, but up close there are imperfections in it. And I could have easily just made this look like it looked perfect on video. Fairly easy to do, but I didn't think it'd be good on my end to present this as if it was perfect when it's actually not. So keep that in mind. Maybe there is some kind of plastic filler or something that you could use on these parts. I'm not sure. That would be a question for KBD. All right, for paint, I chose to use these Duplicolor Perfect Match spray cans, and there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, when I did the rust repair here on the quarters, that's what I used. And I also painted the rockers, and as you can see, it's a perfect match. Another reason is 2 of these cans is 16 ounces, which is more than a tall spray can, and 2 of these cans are the same price. So I get more paint for the same amount of money. Then for clear coat, 2K clear, again, same thing I used on the quarters, so we should get a nice clean finish. And then once this is cured, we can wet sand and buff it. It'd be nice and shiny. Now KBD says to wipe this down again with acetone, but I'm not going to do that because that acetone will actually remove primer if you rub it too hard. And I want to make sure this is nice and clean. So what we're going to use is just some wax and tar remover or wax and grease remover. We'll completely soak this thing down, wipe it down real good so it's fresh and clean. I'm going to get the charger out of here and we can start painting.